myself. I think we met even in the last few presentations. So I will actually not take too much of the time. It's a short session today, but I will try to keep it as interactive as possible. I will love to hear from everybody during the session. Okay, you can ask as many questions as you want if you are during the course of the session as well. Okay, that is how I actually like to interact with people. Okay, and let me actually start sharing out my screen, and you can let me know once you are able to see my screen.
Visible, Nikhil, bro. You can continue. Thank you.
Is my screen visible to all?
Yes, yes, it is visible.
Awesome. Let it load. It shows a bit slow. Yeah. Okay. So, before I actually get started about myself, you all might be already knowing me, seeing on LinkedIn's on a couple of occasions recently as well. So, I am actually having 11 plus years experience in this Salesforce ecosystem. I am a system and application architect as of now, and I am a group leader from the Mumbai Architect Group. And then I have been previously a Lightning champion, and I earlier used to support J2S mentorships. And right now, I am a TIC ambassador going out to different colleges to train them. And even apart from that, during the year end, every year I try to bring up some trainings. But this year, unfortunately, I was not available for that due to some work. There was a lot of project work going on, and recently I was also a part of the TDX sessions, right? So I went to Bangalore for that. So let's get started. I will try to ask questions. If you all get any answers, just try to keep it as interactive as possible. Okay. So the agenda for today is Agentforce vibes. Okay, so we always talk about Agentforce. So we are already into the agentic era. Last week also I conducted one of the sessions where I was talking about the essentials of Agentforce. That is actually a complete chapter which we have began with Bangalore. So we are trying to bring up a lot of chapters there so that each and everybody can learn out Agentforce right from scratch till the end. And also, you might be seeing up in LinkedIn, there are new sessions coming up from Salesforce as well for almost a month where they will be training on different topics. But Agentforce vibes, being keeping that into our mind, let's understand about it. Agentforce vibes is more about, you can say, a kind of the agentic era. So I will ask one question before I actually will start the session. Then we will also see what is behind Agentforce vibes, how do we activate it, what are its capabilities. We will see a simple use case demo, and then we will understand its limitations. So first of all, the question which I will actually ask to everybody is, how many of you have tried to write down Apex classes with the help of ChatGPT? Let's try to understand that point. Okay, one person I'd have tried. Okay, so okay, many, yes. I think people are loving to do that. Okay, okay. Chat GPT, GitHub Actions, right? The Perplexities, and also Google Gemini's, all are actually working in that. Right, so good that I'm seeing a lot of people are already into this AI era, and that is good. Okay, now think about this. Have you actually tried to copy paste the same class into your uh, developer console and save it and run? You might be seeing sometimes that some of the classes don't work. Either there is some error, either it throws some error, right? So why does that happen? Can anybody tell me? First of all, did anybody face any errors or not? Many classes work out. I will not actually say that it doesn't work all times. Sometimes it also gives errors. Sometimes it does work. Right. So, what is the reason why it doesn't work? We have to think about it, right? Yes. So it doesn't have any existing framework. Okay. It doesn't have correct instructions. It doesn't have the proper awareness of what to write in what context. It is trying to match up your data from multiple protocols, multiple AI models from a lot of websites, and then trying to bring in something for you. Right. So since you are not getting the proper prompts, okay, that is where the first problem happens. Okay, Apart from that, new topics. For example, if you want to bring out agents, okay, now if you want to understand few use cases of agents, okay, you want to bring out a new agent or you want to create a new agent, and if you try to give instructions to your chat GPT, it will actually not give you proper response. It tries to bring in whatever theory is available, but it cannot actually train you or cannot give you the exact instructions which you have to follow for your agents to work on, right? That is where we have to again go back to our YouTube materials. We try to go through some videos and understand what the agent is doing and how it is working, right? So that is where Salesforce thought of bringing up a new concept called as Agentforce vibes. So Agentforce vibes is nothing but you are a part of the agentic era. You can write your own code, but the only thing which will be different is now everything will happen within your org. Okay, till now, whatever you were doing, till now, whatever you were trying, were outside the context of the org, and that was actually difficult to catch. Now, Salesforce says when we are already giving you the Einstein trust layer, when we are already doing the zero copy data retention policy with us, then why to even come up with such situations where we don't have a proper framework to follow your code? Why not to have a place where you can even write down your code? The reason behind that is also very simple. We are into AI and lot of freshers coming in and lot of people joining into Salesforce might not be yet completely prolific with writing down good code, right? You might be learning out different frameworks, you might be actually going through a lot of tutorials, you might be taking trainings and then coming back to write code. Now, Salesforce says, I am going to give you a proper use case where you can start writing your use case and they will automatically give the code for you. Okay, it will definitely have some changes, it will have some modifications in future. We don't know what happens in the future, but as of now, Salesforce has tried to bring something interesting. That is what we are actually going to see upon. Okay, so till now, who all have used Visual Force Studio Code? I think VS Code is being used by most of the people since they are working with LWC components, correct? Okay, how many of you also tried to work with Code Builder? Okay, so Code Builder is also an interesting IDE. So, has any other people used it? How Code Builder looks like? What Code Builder does? Okay, not used. So, if you will see, Code Builder has been actually introduced last year, I guess, or a couple of years back, which was provided from Salesforce. Okay, it was in the beta version, which was an IDE on the web, something similar to your Lightning Studio. I think you all are familiar with the Lightning Studio, right? You might have used the Lightning Studio Chrome extension for writing down a lot of Lightning components. Did you use that? Right. So if you see, that similar kind of interface was provided from Code Builder as well. But now Salesforce tried to bring in that same kind of IDE, okay, within the Salesforce org, okay, with the agentic flavor into it. Okay, since agents have been introduced and they are actually taking a lot of efforts to bring out more LLMs, they are trying to bring it out that they can actually write as many things which the agent can do. We are now seeing Slack agents, we are seeing employee agents, so many agents coming up to do your automated actions. That is where the concept of coding also comes in, that why not to have a framework where you ask questions and your prompts give you the answer. Okay, that is where your Salesforce introduced the Agentforce vibes. Okay, it was lately introduced this year during Dreamforce, and it has been an interesting feature which has been brought in from Salesforce to learn more about coding. Okay, so let's actually dive in into it. So I will now try to go a little bit deeper. Okay. So if you see what is Agentforce Vibes, it is not an AI assistant similar to what you were seeing in ChatGPT, in your Perplexity, or when you are using your Google Gemini's. Okay, they were actually giving you Apex classes, but you had to go in. You had to actually build your own prompt, and if the prompt is not sufficient enough, it can write down anything for you. For example, you can just try, you can go into your chat GPT and you can write down an Apex class. You just ask it to write an Apex class to perform an REST API call out. Simple. And give him the endpoint. They will be able to give you a structure how your Apex class should look like. But that Apex class has to be actually worked around to make it possible with your hit and trials. You will have to go and make some changes. Most of the times, name mismatches, variables not properly defined. Some of the variables starting giving errors. Those are few common things which happens with your chat GPT. Okay, so for that only, Agentforce Vibes has came in. This will actually integrate with your system and it will work with natural level prompts. That is what Agentforce Vibes brings throughout. Okay, so let's try to see. I actually call it as the Agent Force City vibes. Okay, why? Because when you go into Agent Force, okay, you are entering the agentic era. So why not to call it as the Agent Force City? Right. So we are getting into it. So how it actually works? It has got 5 different steps always to remember upon. You will have installation, you will have setup, you will have connections, you will have build, and then you will have deployments. Okay, all of these can be seamlessly done with your Agentforce Vibes. This is a specific extension which has been already added to your developer orgs. Okay, where you can easily go into your org and start looking into this extension. Okay, this extension automatically loads an IDE and it actually gives you all the features. It has got some changes which you can put in. You can even customize it. You can even do whatever kind of changes by bringing your own models. You can even bring in new changes to it. Okay, so this is a very interesting feature which is coming up moving forward. When I talk about its activation, okay, for activation, you don't need to do a lot. Okay, you have an org which is coming up with Agentforce Vibes extensions. You can directly go there. And in your developer console, you will be able to, just before your developer console shows up, just above that, there will be an option for Agentforce Vibes. When you click over that, okay, so this is how your basic org looks like. If you see, this is the basic org UI which I am showing in front of your screen. Okay, now it always says these new orgs will be saying welcome agent vibes. Okay, now what it can do and what it cannot do, we will see. But when you actually activate it, okay, it will try to ask you some terms and conditions. Okay, basically, for example, if you see the Agentforce vibes, okay, it says it has got DX tools which might be provided as a part of it, and it can have some privacy and security protections different than your other services. Okay, so it has got its own compliance section. You can even see. So if you see, it has already told Agentforce vibes, which was earlier as the code builder, is also subject to change. Okay, they are trying to evolve it as much as possible. But when you will click on this section, automatically it will first ask you to accept this. When you accept it, the next screen which comes up will be something like this. It will start your screen showing up with Agentforce vibes loading. Okay, it takes a few minutes because it tries to connect to your org. Okay, and once it connects, it will automatically prepare an IDE for you. It creates a project for you by default. It creates all the folders for you by default. Everything comes like a simple VS Code IDE. Even without this, this is also available in VS2 Code as well. I will tell about that as well, how you actually use it. So once it is ready, it is saying like getting your workspace ready. As soon as that is ready, this is how your basic org look and feel will look like. If you see, the org which you connected to automatically says the org which it has actually got connected to. Okay. And it will ask you to enable and start building. Okay. And it will ask you to agree to the terms. Okay. As soon as you agree to it, it actually makes it available with the or and it starts running in the backend. So this is a very basic UI which I am talking of. We will be seeing it live. But before that, anybody has any questions so far? Okay, no questions so far. Okay, good about that. Yes, I will be doing that. I will be giving you all an option to actually get this org available for yourself. Okay, and I will try to then move forward since you don't have any questions. I will try to basically come back and show you the next options available once this IDE loads. Okay, this IDE has got a lot of options available. As soon as you say yes to it, enable and start building, the screen just gets optimized and it actually allows you to build your code. Okay, we will see that live. I will actually come over the org, I will come on the back end of it. But can anybody tell me, okay, before I actually start moving into its capabilities, what are its limitations, how it actually works, how it actually looks on the UI when you're using Agentforce vibes? Uh, can anybody tell me how does Agentforce vibes actually work? Chalo, a good question for I think everybody. Yeah, Puneet, I will be sharing the link. Don't worry. Edit code and approved. It is. Then you think preview. It is good to go. That is fine. That you're just telling how the mechanism works. Like that is completely fine. We will be seeing it live in the org as well. I have kept an org available. So Rachna, my question is, can anybody tell me how this agent force vibes is actually working? Yes, Ranveer. So vibes actually gets all the metadata context and it also works like your copilot, basically like your VS Code, but it has got some additional capabilities as well. Okay. So now can anybody tell me how it actually works in the backend? What is there which actually makes it more effective? Anybody? LLM. Okay. LLM is always there. Okay. But how are you saying that this is actually more accurate than your other versions of the code which you are writing? Okay, Einstein. So Einstein is able to understand. So if Einstein is able to understand that, then then I have a question for you all. Again, a very basic question. It takes the prompt and works accordingly. So there are two kind of prompts which works in the backend. Okay. Can anybody tell me what kind of prompts I am talking about? So we are having, okay, template prompt, prompt engineering, user prompts. No, I am actually asking about two types of prompts here. One is text-based retrieval and the other one is code-based retrieval. So do you know what is the difference between text-based retrieval versus code-based retrieval? Okay, so let me try to just deep dive a little bit over here. Okay, basically, your Chat GPT, your Google Gemini, or your Perplexity actually works on text based retrievals. Okay, so text based retrievals are like basically whatever you are actually providing in the text, based on that, they will try to go into your LLMs, try to create out your data and give it to you. Okay, that is the reason your code sometimes doesn't work as expected. And then you have to actually go in and then you have to actually work on that code and do your hit and trials. Now, code based retrieval is more about, it actually tries to understand the code and the framework. And based on the code based framework, it tries to build your answers, tries to build your prompts. Okay, whatever the response they will be giving you, they will be trying to understand it based on your org, based on your code which you are giving to them. So that means that, for example, I go into my Salesforce and I have got an architect. Suppose I have an architect who builds a design pattern for my org. Okay, this design pattern can have multiple ways of writing code. Let's take a very basic scenario, like I have a selector class which actually does all my queries. I build a service class which calls this selector class, which will be having all the DMLs. And then I will have a controller class which is being called from the LWC or from my trigger, which is being used for the rest of the functionalities. So now this controller will call this service, and the service is automatically calling the selector class. This is a very basic design pattern which I develop. I give this template to my system. Now, code based retrieval, what it actually tries to do is it tries to understand this particular prompt. It tries to understand this particular pattern of the code which has been prepared upon. And based on that, it will actually generate you a complete code. So it will be following your instructions, your design patterns to create out your code. That is what code based retrieval does. Now, Salesforce introduced SFR based models. Okay. SFR based models are nothing but, they are actually having around 7 million, up to 7 million, I should say, parameters which has been passed over. And from those 7 million parameters, it tries to embed and get your code. Now, while they are building the code, they are not going to work with only one LLM. They are going to embed more than one LLM. Multiple LLMs gets combined together to create your code. Okay, that is how the backend of your Agentforce vibes looks like. Using the SFR methodology, it tries to follow all the details. Okay, so I try to just grow a little bit deep. Any questions over here before I start again moving? Yes. So if you are not having any patterns yet created in your existing system, yes, it will create out a design pattern for you, but it will ask for your retrieval. It will ask for your approval that whether you are fine with that particular pattern. If you want to modularize that pattern, once they build out a basic structure, that is also possible. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, sure, Puneet. So SFR is more about, you can say, Salesforce based frequency responses. What it actually does is it has got the context of embedding multiple LLMs together. Okay, multiple LLMs are going to combine together. It can be more than 30, it can be more than 40. Multiple LLMs comes together. They combine with each other. And what they actually do is they try to build out a response based on these all multiple LLMs. Okay. During that phase, it will do a combination of text based retrieval as well as it will also do your code based retrieval. Okay, so you are not understanding what is there about code based retrieval. So basically, SFR is a mechanism. For example, when you actually talk about your Atlas reasoning engine, do you know what is Atlas reasoning engine, Ranveer? Okay, so Atlas reasoning engine basically works for your Salesforce end, right? It actually works with your basic Uh, as of now, voice assistant is not there, but you will be seeing it coming soon, Suman. But I will first try to complete about Ranveer. So basically, similar to your Atlas reasoning engine, Salesforce has got with a concept of SFR methodology. SFR, if you actually talk about, okay, it is a combination of multiple LLMs together, where it does a combination of text based retrieval as well as your code based retrieval. So it is going to combine both of them and give you a proper response. Now, did you actually understand what is actually SFR? Sure. Okay. So basically, whenever you are actually working with that kind of models, that is where your SFR is becoming effective. SFR, you can actually read about it in a lot of phases. It is already given upon. Uh, it is actually a combination of multiple LLMs together. Okay. Any other questions here? Okay. So since anybody is not having any questions, I will try to go further. Okay. So now to your question, Suman, which you are asking about your voice assistant feature, your simple prompts can also build your things as effectively as possible. Okay. But yes, if you are getting a voice assistant, that actually adds more relevance, and it actually adds you to prevent your time. But still, it is much faster than the way you are actually building your classes nowadays. Okay, nowadays, if anybody asks you to write down an LWC, uh, it will actually not be taking in the particular response properly. But if you are going with Agentforce vibes, it will try to get all the details based on your org. It has got that context awareness within it. It will try to understand your data model, and then it will try to give you answers and responses based on that. And Puneet, yeah, right now you cannot connect it with Jira and all. Okay, but if you are just writing them a very basic prompt, okay, it can automatically start building what kind of context awareness it is looking at based on your org. Okay. Yeah. So now, going further, what are its capabilities? Somebody might be thinking, what are its capabilities available? Okay. So to talk about its capacities and its capabilities, let's go to the next slide and understand. So these are its basic capabilities available. It can generate you code. It can suggest you inline code completions. It can write down a test class for you with more than 75% code coverage easily. Okay, it works on the plan mode. So see, there are two type of modes which we talk upon. Okay, by plan mode, I mean that you can actually ask it for a documentation. You can actually ask it for explaining a particular piece of code as well. Okay, that is the plan mode. More about documentation, more about understanding the code. If you want to say explain this particular code, you can just select a particular set of code from there, and you will get an option of explain. If you click on that, it will explain you what that particular piece of code is doing. And it has also got the act mode available with it. More about act mode is like creating out your Apex classes, writing down your test classes, creating a custom object, okay, with its fields. And it can also help you in planning out your entire model. For example, if you say, I want to build out an app, okay, I say that I want to build out a e-commerce site for my system, so suggest me an app construction. It will come up with its own model. It will give you a lot of suggestions in the form of prompts. You can customize it or you can go ahead with it. That is where the capabilities of Agentforce vibes extends up to a lot. Going further, let's try to actually go into the org itself. Okay, and before I go into the org, I will just take a pause. If anybody has any question, I just did one more template and just move forward to ask questions. But yes, if anybody has, please let me know so that I can then go back into the org. Accuracy will be there. Why? Because it is trying to use your standard data model which is available in your org. For example, if you have actually built in your own custom objects, say you build out an employee object for yourself, and you are trying to build up its own employee management system which has got its salary disbursals and all, it will, when you actually ask it to prepare a class for this employee object, for fetching the data, for retrieval of the data, or for displaying the data, it will actually go into your org and use that SFR model. That is where I was saying that until and unless we understand the difference between GPT and SFR, that is a basic difference. Because GPT actually goes with only text based retrievals. That is the reason most of the times your codes don't work completely, and then you go in, you make changes, you bring it out. Okay, to work. But if you are actually working with your org based instances, it will actually check your prompts based on the org which is available to you. So it has got a little bit of more accuracy. Okay, it can actually give you a lot of extra information. Even if you ask what are the classes available into it, if you are asking what are the instances which are connected to my org, it actually checks your model, it checks your data model and gives you what all environments have been connected to you. Okay, so now let's see how it actually looks like. So if I come over, this is my org which I had actually created. Okay, so if you see this org, let's so if you go inside this, let it load in. It is loading for a second. So now let's see. If you see, it has got an option of Agentforce vibes available into it. Okay, when you will click, it will actually load your IDE. Okay, now if you think that I want to disable this Agentforce vibes because I am not sure, as Ranveer was actually asking about its accuracy, some might be actually concerned about its data security as well, right? So sometimes people want to get that complete awareness before proceeding forward. So you can even go into your Agentforce extension, and you go into this extension, click on the Agentforce vibes extension, and you have the option of disabling it. You can disable your Agentforce vibes. Automatically, it will not get connected to any of the IDs. If it doesn't, if you want to continue with it, you can just keep it enabled. Okay. Now, let's go into how the IDE looks like. So I have actually built in this accuracy based IDE. I already loaded it. I was trying few hits and trials to understand what all things it can do. Okay, so since I have already done few things, so if you see, it already asks you that you agree that your Salesforce extensions may collect your usage information, your user environment, and crash reports. Okay, for further improvements. It will also ask you that it has got a default org enabled. Right now, I have connected it to one of the orgs, so it is going to work on based on that org. Okay, so if you're seeing all these classes which you are seeing over here, these all classes have been prepared using Agentforce vibes. So when you load it, as I was saying, it will first of all ask you for accepting. And if you see, this is an important information. If you see Salesforce DX MCP server enabled. Okay, so MCP is nothing but model context protocols. Model context protocols also works with LLMs well. And since you are working with SFDX, since you are actually going to work with Visual Force, VS Code as well. In VS Code also you require CLI integration. So you will get this extension available. So whenever this extension is available, it will actually ask you to make sure that you are enabling it with the help of MCP. So this MCP gets automatically enabled when you are connecting it to the Agentforce Vibes extension. This extension will be available in your VS Code. It is also available in this IDE. Okay. So how do you see how it is going to work or how it is going to do your work? So if you see, this IDE was built in for me using this Agentforce Vibes tab, and I agreed to it, and then it actually created the entire project for me. Okay, it has got the content assets, flexi pages, layouts, LWC, objects, whatever I want to get over here. Okay, now how do I utilize it? I will have to go into this last icon. There is the Agentforce vibes icon. Okay, but before I actually run over there, I will be actually also talking about few more things here. If you see this particular section where you are building your workspace, so since you are actually going with your org to get connected to an system and you are loading your Agentforce vibes, okay, it has got an option of agent. Right now, you have got an agent option available. Okay, you have got a pick model option available where you can add your own language models. Okay, your own LLMs can be also added upon. Okay, and you can also bring in your own custom agents. That means if you are building out your own agents, your custom agent force agents which you build upon, you can even call those to build out your code. Okay, now taking a pause before I actually start showing how it actually works with vibes. Any question has? Yes, it is the yes, Puneet, correct. It is basically the code builder ID. Ravila, you will be getting it with John. He will be actually posting it into its YouTube channel. He has already given that message. Okay. So Puneet, yes, this is the code builder. As I was saying, the existing code builder has been now remodified and brought in with the flavor of Agentforce into it. Okay. Any other questions? How can I use this in Omni Studio? It is still means evolving, right? So you will be seeing very quickly. I think very soon you will be seeing your option of your metadata of Omni Studio also coming into it. When your Omni Studio packages will be deployed into this org, you will automatically get started with those particular sections available. See, now for your answer question, Shresh, your question is good. Since you are new to Salesforce, you are asking that should you actually learn about Agentforce firstly, or you should go through the basics. I would always suggest the first thing is always learning your basics. Definitely, basics are very, very important to understand. Okay, how your Salesforce data model works upon. Okay, you should be knowing those. You should be knowing the basic pillars of your Salesforce, basically how the data model works, how you write your very basic Apex classes. That is my own personal perspective. Since now we are actually into this agentic AI and we are doing a lot of changes, we are trying so many things out. But my suggestion always will be that you should always try to understand few things about your Salesforce data models, and then you should actually start moving towards AI. AI is not bad, but you have to understand how your data model actually grows, how you can actually evolve yourself. Okay, I am never saying that you should not be going into agentic AI. Yes, you need it, definitely, but your basics should be clear. If somebody asks you saying that what is a lightning component, and you actually go in and you start building a lightning component without knowing its basics from the AI, okay, it is never going to be helpful because you have to understand. Now somebody comes in and asks what is the basic difference between an LWC and Aura component, and then you will be actually like, okay, I had actually learned about LWC, I'm not knowing the basic difference. So basics should be always clear. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Yes, I will actually, I can. You can reach out to me on my LinkedIn profile. Okay. Uh, Good question, Ravila. Coming back to your question. Yes, I will actually pass you some Trailhead modules which you can go in. You can just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I will try to give you some details there. Okay. And now coming back to your question, is the spec models free of cost? See, the Agentforce already comes with a price, right? You have got whatever the prompts you are typing, it has got its own charges. Okay, similar to that, you have also got some limitations on your agent vibes, but it is not completely blocked. It has got its reset capabilities. They have, as of now, come up with a couple of capabilities as of now. I will talk about them in the limitations section. But yes, you can actually say as of now, you can use it up to good amount of extension, but you have to understand how better you can make it with future. Okay. Sure. Any other questions? I think everybody is understanding. So I will try to now go back again to my extension and I will try to show you a few more things here. So when I click on this agent vibes icon, okay, you will see how it actually works. So you see, automatically it has taken my org. Okay, I will try to do a refresh here just to make sure that it is already refreshed. It is already connected to my system. I'm just trying to do a refresh here. Okay, now let it load. It will actually ask whether it is going to agree to your VS Code, because in VS Code also you have got this extension available called as your Agentforce vibes. Okay. Now, if you see, it is connecting to the org. It has got all the things available. And now you see it has got a prompt section available into it. Okay. It has got a prompt section. You can even bring out your own model. Bring your own model is a great concept which is actually already going on within Salesforce. You can build out your own models using the model builder, and you can even use the basic Salesforce models available. So let's actually see. If you see, it is actually going to say build a sales cloud forecasting app. It is already giving you some other prompts like create a commerce cloud storefront. I will try to show you something interesting here. Okay, I will not save it though, but I will show you a few things very interesting which I was trying to do. Okay, so I say create a custom object called inventory with 5 fields. Okay, and I just say enter. Now if you see, it is running your API. It is actually asking you what all fields you want to go with. If you see, it is actually giving you some basic fields based on its understanding. It is giving you SKU, it is giving you name, it is giving you quantity, unit cost, and location with some basic data, basic options available. And then it will ask you confirm the object and the field specifications. If you actually say use the proposed specs, it will actually go with this particular details which are actually built in. Else, if you actually say I will provide different fields and settings, it will actually take that into picture. Okay, now this becomes interesting, right? So now you can actually go in, you can ask for your suggestions. It will actually help you for getting more details. Right. Now, if I actually just do use the proposed specs, and you will see it will actually again do an API request. And it, if you see on the back end how it is creating all the things for you. Okay. If you see, all the details are coming up over here. Okay. And it is showing you how your data is going to look like. Okay. And it asks me to option as either I want to save it or I want to reject it. So I have the option of either rejecting it and I can build my prompt again. I have the option of saving it. If I click on save, it will go ahead and create the object for me in the backend. So it becomes very interesting, right? Now, if somebody says you have to create an object, and if you have the entire data model available with you, and somebody says that there are around 60, 70 fields, or say 80 fields to be built out, just copy paste the question over here into the prompt, and it goes ahead and builds your own metadata XML. It allows you to see what all permissions it is giving, what all sharing model it is giving. If you see, it is giving you a lot of things. It is giving you the sharing model. It is also giving you the basic. If you see, it is also giving you the option of your inventories details. It is also going to show you the action overrides if you are trying to have. So all the things already updated in your metadata. Okay, all things already updated into your metadata. Okay, so I showed you one half of it. Now let's reject it. I don't want to actually create this object because I'm not interested to create it. Okay, now, okay, it is saying that do you want to actually create the files in the repository? Okay, or you want to directly deploy it into a MCP deploy metadata and then retrieve it? Means, do you want to create your own retrieval meta XML, or you want to just cancel it? So as of now, I'm canceling it, and I will try to go into another interesting part of it. See, it is always going to tell you how the things are doing. Now, suppose I am working with the account object. So I go ahead and I write an Apex class for fetching all of account records with sharing model enabled. Simple. And I just say enter. So it again does an API request and it says, I am going to create out your Apex class. See, it is taking all the things into consideration and it is building an Apex class for you. Okay. We will see this Apex class, let them get created. So now if you see, they had tried to make it with sharing. They have came up with a method of getting the static list of account for getting all the records with the integer as a parameter for the limits. Okay, and then it has built out your Apex query, given the parameter here. It is also giving you an invocable method so that if you are actually trying to build out an invocable method for your Apex class, you can even do that. As well as it is also building out some other models available. It is based on its own understanding. It is trying to build out a complete Apex class. Now, you can actually go ahead, modify this class, and utilize it. Or if you just want to get this created, till now they have just created it. If you see it is highlighted, that means it has not yet been created. It has just been written over here and it is waiting for you to save it. If you are clicking on the save button, automatically the class got created. So it will actually say that an API request is working. It is creating out your Apex class and it is asking about your API version. It is giving your status, whether this class should be active or not. And it is asking you to save. So if I save this, it will also go in and create this file in your metadata. Then it will ask you, do you want to deploy the class? Do you want to deploy with the unit test? Okay, or do you want to skip the deployment? So if I go with the second option, say that deploy with unit test. So if I click this, now it will go ahead and build an Apex class for you, which is a test class for it with more than 75% code coverage. Okay. Now, this is actually going with a very basic pattern of writing down your Apex classes because your SFR model has been treated with this basic data model pattern. But you can customize it. You can optimize it as per your own need. You can make changes to this class and then you can save it. As soon as you save, the test classes also gets created. So now within seconds, you are able to write an Apex class. You are also, so if you see, it throwed me the error for today. If you see, okay. So I will have to explain what the limit was, but as of now, you can understand these are some of the capabilities. Even when you are having your Apex class available, okay, let's try to save it first. Once I have saved it, let's see if it is able to save the class. Okay, so it is actually now throwing some errors because of the code builder which I am actually using as of now. Okay, but if it doesn't, it will actually show you all the success and it will also allow you to see the changes. Now, coming over to some of the interesting parts of this entire class, which I also see. If you already saw, it already hit the limit because I was trying a lot of it in trials over here, seeing its capabilities. But you can see a lot of things can be prepared with this particular or within certain seconds. And you can actually modify it based on your own needs. Okay, that is how your basic org looks like. Okay, this is a very basic developer org. It has its own licenses. But before I actually move into the licenses and what are its limitations, I will first open it to questions. I have given a lot of information over here. Yes, it is over engineered, but basically, what they are actually trying to do is they are trying to give you the best practiced template, which should be from Salesforce. Okay. So, for example, if you are actually trying to write down a very basic class and you go to review it with the Salesforce team during your audit, they might suggest you a lot of changes. Even if you all have used tools like, what is that tool called? There are some audit tools which are directly available, which we use in our orgs, right? Which actually runs in the backend to see your code. Okay. So, for example, the force.com security scanner. Okay, so these all, when works in the backend, they actually look for your best practices. So it has tried to actually build out everything. You build out your prompt in a better way. Okay, make it simple. It will make the class even simpler. Okay, I will show an example of that, and then I will come back to Rachna's question. For example, I was writing down a normal opportunities class. Let's actually try to go in the opportunities class available. So let me go over here. So if you see this, I have just prepared a very basic Apex class where I wanted to have a lightning component for it. Okay, I parsed it that I want to show up the lightning component with a lightning data table and just retrieve the data. So it has built out a very simple method. If you see, it has built out a normal class with its details, what it is going to return. It has written down a basic method for fetching out the data, and it has just stopped it over here. And then if you go back and you go into your LWC, it has created the opportunity list component for me. If you see this has written down the entire table for me. Okay, it has used its own concept of writing down the template. It has checked out all the JS. It has written down all the methods for me. I don't need to do anything apart from that. That is the power which it is actually now giving to you. Okay, you can modify it, you can play around with it. It has got a lot of options available within it. Okay, now coming to your basic question, what is the option in the right side built with the agent? As I had told you, this is an existing option which has been given. I have not configured it for that. But if you see, build with an agent actually allows you to bring in your own custom agents as well. You can configure your custom agents. It will ask you, do you want to create your own custom agent which can perform your tasks? Or else you can actually go with the existing agent. This is more like a bring your own model concept. Okay, build your own model which is going to follow your templates, your concepts, and build the code based on that. It also allows you to check in your models. If you click on this, it will ask you to connect with your existing org or your GitHub, and then based on that, it will actually take you to the data models. It will take you to different data models available. You can take them either ChatGPT, either Google Gemini, ChatGPT 3.5 or 5.1, whatever the latest one is running in. You can actually go with them. That is the power which they are actually providing it. It is still evolving. I am still testing it out, but definitely I am trying, and I will try to give more information about it. To Shubham's question, what happens to the existing code written manually, or it creates a new file? It actually keeps it within you. It doesn't actually saves it because it has thrown an error, but you can actually go in, and if you see that class is still written, okay, you can still copy this class and you can still create this class into your org by saving it. It will still work. It is not lost anywhere. Just that your API limit has hit out, so it is not allowing you to save the code. That's it from the API request. Okay. Now, can they run in background? I didn't actually understand the basic question here, Rachna. This agent can actually, what it can actually do, what my understanding is, what I have actually till now tried to play around it with from quite some time. So I have seen that it is actually running in the background and it is working well with all your data. When you are actually creating an object, even in your org, you go in without actually creating the custom object from the backend. If you go in and create out a custom object, and then you're just coming in over here to write an Apex class, it easily identifies what is actually running and what object is already there in the org, because it is a direct IDE available. It is an online IDE. But if you are actually going with VS Code, you will have to refresh it. Once you refresh it, it will pull in the data, metadata, and then it can work on it again. Make sense? Yes, Vibe will still generate the code, but it will not be deploying it to the environment. It will keep it about you. And if you see this particular section, there are two models available. If I go here, right now, if I am going here and I am trying to go with my org, I ask it, can we write an Apex class for product to object? Okay, so what it will do is it will now start working on other model. If you see, this model is now the core model. There are two models provided from Salesforce. One is called as the core model, the other one is called as the pro model. Okay, so core model is the default model. When your limit hits, it starts running in the backend. Else, you have got the pro model available, which can write down your rest of the code in the beginning until your limits hit. And after that, it will try to run based on this core model's APIs. Do I make sense? Wait, so till now, everything clear? Huh. So if you want to see which model is running, okay. So if you see, here is the model which is identified on the screen. It is writing as the core model. When I was not hitting my limit, at that time it will show you as pro model. So you will understand which is running in the backend. Okay, Puneet? Okay, now for Shivam, your question, what makes Agentforce vibes different? As I told, if you saw it from the beginning, now this kind of coding practice, for example, just see this Apex class. Let's go into a very simple one. Let's actually try to go into the org and see this opportunity data service class. Okay, now, if I try to actually, I'm just trying to close this as of now. If you see this Apex class, okay, this is following all the best practices provided from Salesforce, and it is trying to return you all the details. Okay, this level of deep level SFR modeling is not available in your Chat GPT. It is not available in your Google Gemini. It is not available in Perplexity because they are not actually getting the access to your Salesforce best practices data model or the template which Salesforce actually accepts as the best data model to follow. So that kind of coding can be very easily done. Along with that, you can create out your objects. And if you see, for example, somebody has written out a code. Now, suppose somebody has just written out a code and you are not able to understand that code, what it is doing, just select that code, click on write, see, go to references, and it will actually tell you what it exactly does. Okay. It also has got an option of explain. When you click on explain, it will try to connect your GitHub. First of all, it is necessary. But once it is connected, it will give you the definition of what that particular method, what that particular query is doing. Now, suppose you want to actually document a class. Suppose somebody has written out a class, somebody in the past wrote out a class, and now you have been introduced into a new project. And they told, understand the code which has been written over here. Okay, and then start writing your code. So now you don't need to do everything, right? You can directly select the particular class, right click, and you can directly say go to definition, or you can do explain. You get the understanding model directly available, okay, which actually helps you to make your code even effective. Yes, correct. So as you actually start going with it, I have explored its documentation section. I have tried Apex classes creation. I created objects, and I tried all of these. I am now trying to create some apps with it, and it is really good. I will show you some example. If you are actually just going into your Agentforce vibes, and here just you say create a forecasting app for me, or create a forecasting op. Just a very simple model. Just think, I have given a very natural level prompt, and it is actually saying it wants to do a forecasting model, and it is trying to create an Apex product to service class. And based on that, it is trying to understand that the forecasting app will be using the product to object, and then it will create a complete Apex class for you within seconds. Now, just think, if you are just going in, if this much of code has to be written out from your end, this will be actually a complete time of around 2 to 3 days for building out the entire logic. But it is ready to build out your entire Apex class within seconds for you. Now, even though you are needing 3 days to build the class, you can spend your next 4 hours making changes to this class as well and modifying it as per your needs. So now your time estimation for building an Apex class gets smarter here. Yes, it does handle FSL. Okay. It is somewhat similar to Curitech AI. Okay, Curitech AI also uses SFR model only in the backend. That is the reason I was saying, if you will actually start seeing it as a new dimension in your VS Code, you will love it. Okay, this is actually bringing you to the next level. It is trying to build you to the next level. Okay, it handles FLS and correct. So your answer is correct, that leadership will set high expectations with Agentforce vibes, but you can always have that particular point that rather than having 3 days, we can have 1 day within which we can write down the entire test class. And if you are already having a particular template defined, for example, if I work into my org, I should have a data factory class, a test data factory. I call that test data factory into my test class. I do a test setup method, and then I build out my rest of the methods. So if I define that template, that I also want to have a test data factory, which gets called into my Apex test class, which should have a test setup method, and followed by the methods, it will start writing code in that particular context. Even if you say, take reference from this Apex class and write the code for you, it can do that for you. That is where your entire section of Agentforce vibes has evolved. Make sense? Okay. So anybody else has any other questions before I start move forward further? Okay. So I will start going to the just the last few parts of it. I already showed few things for you so that you understand this data model fast. Okay. So I am showing you some contacts, accounts, opportunities on the live data context itself. Okay. And some limitations which you have to understand. As you saw, I already hit the limitations once. So you have got 50 requests as per the Pro SFR model. The Pro SFR model works with 50 requests per day. Once the limit is reached, it will try to shift towards the Core SFR model. Now, definitely, Pro SFR model has got greater capabilities. As you have seen your Chat GPTs Plus, Chat GPT Pro, whatever the Pro models are coming in, they are actually accepting larger number of parameters, definitely higher. And when you are having your license and activation, you will have better limits available. This is just for your basic dev org. And once it is the limit hit, it actually shifts to the core SFR model. That means that it can still create your Apex classes, but it will not be actually affecting your model context, but it will not be creating the class for you. You can copy it, you can paste it into your org, save it. Okay. Now you might be thinking, do you want to try your own org? Please go ahead and scan this. If you scan this, you can redirect to the link automatically for creating out your own org where you can try out Agentforce vibes for yourself. So did everybody take a screenshot? Okay, perfect. So did you like the session? How was the session so far? Did you like it? Is it a good feature for you all? Yes, it is available in your SD org. You will be able to see it. If you are saving it, it will actually. So now, since when your API limit fails, good question, Rachna. For example, if your API limit has failed, it couldn't create the class for you in the backend, right? So now, what you actually do, you will just have to copy and paste. It will never override. It will create a new one for you because it has not been created, right? Yes. Sure, I can shift the share QR code one more time. Okay, got the QR code. Awesome. So hope you all like this session. I am coming up with much more sessions which are going to happen within the next couple of months, which will be with the Bangalore team, where I will be also conducting some more Agentforce basic sessions going forward. We will be going with that. And along with that, you will be seeing some posts which are already going on around from Salesforce. They are also coming up with new you can say sessions which will go over a month with some prizes as well. You can be in a team of 4 and you can actually work on it. Okay, so that is again an interesting session coming up from December 13th. You can look out for them as well. Okay. And Rachna, if it is already created, then you will have to just go in and it will then override the existing class, right? If you save it, automatically it will automatically override the existing class. Okay, so I think John has already shared out a particular link. You can actually go into that. This is actually a particular league which is going to start from 13th of December. Every Saturday, 1 hour of time for informative sessions over a month, and then build your own app. So, and if you are able to complete all the modules within the time, definitely you will have some swags and prizes for that. Okay, so you can definitely go into it. Okay, so if you all like the session, is it fine if you want to actually turn on your video for a basic snapshot, or if you are not, then it's fine. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We will again meet in the future sessions. Thanks for everyone who actually joined today, and looking forward for many more informative